Sweeties, how are you all doing? Welcome to Smnaya. So I came across a video, and one thing I know for sure is that some people will never let you breathe, right? They will not let you breathe, and they do not also want you to breathe. Will they ever leave black people? I don't think they will actually, because if they leave black people alone, how do you want them to survive? It's like black people is the air that they breathe. Black people is literally everything that they do. So their life also is centered around people that look like me. Because if their life is not centered around people that look like me, tell me how people wake up every day to black people. And now I am going to even ask people, what is even black culture? You know, there are some, oh, sorry, white culture. Sorry about that. What is white culture? Each time I wake up and hear people talk about white culture, it sounds like people that are, when a tire deflates, right? And you are trying to force the tire to move. How do you want it to move? You all know the truth. But the problem is that you all claim to be Christian, but you lie more than pagans. You all be lying and cooking so bad, very bad. You know the truth, but you don't want to speak the truth because you want to continue to be on the wrong side of history, because you guys are actually on the wrong side of history. But then let's get into this video.
So white people will never leave black people alone, and I'm gonna tell you why. White society's obsession with black people isn't new, it's centuries old. If you think about slavery, colonialism, and exploitation, from the start, white wealth in America was built off the backs of black bodies. Sugar, cotton, tobacco, rice. This wasn't just economics, it was a system where white people's very identity was shaped around controlling and owning and watching black bodies. But here's the wild contradiction in all of this, right? While trying to dehumanize us, white culture has always been obsessed with us, right? They copied our music, our style, our language, our food, even our rhythm, all while denying us basic rights. Think about jazz and rock and hip hop and fashion, all born out of black genius, only to be taken, watered down, and sold back to the world with a white face on it. So why can't they just stay away? Because in a system that is built both on exploitation and envy, distance is impossible. White supremacy depends on keeping black people in place, close enough to use, control, or imitate, but never free enough to threaten the hierarchy. It's a sick paradox, fear and fascination at the same damn time. On a psychological level, it's projection. White folks will project their guilt, their fear, and their insecurities onto blackness, and then turn around and crave the very life, culture, and resilience they tried to destroy. It's like they want the sauce, but not the struggle. Now, to be real, not every white person acts like this, but the system, the way whiteness has defined itself against blackness, makes it so this obsession keeps resurfacing. Whether it's over policing or culture appropriation or trying to legislate our lives, it always comes back to the old need to dominate mixed with a quiet desire to be what they can't.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. White people tend to be, not always, tend to be adrenaline junkies, and they pay lots of money to do extreme sports that'll fucking kill them because they don't know what it's like to live in danger every day. So they have to go find it and seek danger for fun. I've said it before and I'll say it again. White people tend to be, not always, tend to be adrenaline junkies, and they pay lots of money to do extreme sports that'll fucking kill them because they don't know what it's like to live in danger every day. So they have to go find it and seek danger for fun.
Not only do they do this because they have no frame of reference for real danger and threat in their everyday life, but they also have a God complex. Don't we hear a lot of people say all the time, why do white people act like somebody died and God left them in charge? Because that is truly how they feel. That is why they are obsessed with immortality, and why so many cults that they entwine themselves in are deeply, deeply in theology and ideals and doctrines that speak about eternal life. They are also very, very preoccupied with blood, the shedding of blood, drinking, consuming of people's bodies. This is all tied into their God complex and their belief that they deserve to be immortal beings, when really true power is not found from taking from others. And that is what white people have done. When you take power that way, it's never really innate. They have to prove themselves. They have to prove their worthiness to themselves. And so they do these things. They test death by doing these extreme activities, these extreme sports, take their own bodies to the very edge, to the very brink of death to prove a fucking point. A lot of it is really just based on holding that over somebody's head, feeling powerful and feeling accomplished. But I think it all boils down to their need to feel like they are immortal, like they are God. And that's why they feel so threatened by other races, other ethnicities, other cultures, and other groups just living, just being. They do not feel adequate unless they are conquering, unless they are taking something down. That's why they love big game hunting. Them animals are literally out there minding their fucking business. You're not eating a lion steak. Some people will. The need to conquer death, the need to take life, the need to control life, the need to continually test the bounds. That is a God complex. That's why they act the way they do in so many other different areas.
I'm sorry, who are you again?
I'm just a white indie author sitting in front of my camera, hoping to find readers that want to hear the white voice.
The white voice. Definitely doesn't sound racist, but go on.
All of my characters in my books are white. I wrote it this way because I have the white voice and I want to spread it. And so that you can learn about white culture and respect white culture.
I'm really hoping you define what white culture is, because I've never actually heard of white culture. I've heard of British culture and French culture and German culture, but I've never heard of white culture.
And I think it's really important because the white culture is just crapped on all the time. We hear things like, oh, you don't even have culture, and what is your culture? Just slavery? You know what I'm talking about because you've heard it too.
I cannot wait for this woman to define what white culture is, but I will very quickly say that some white people were enslavers and other white people were abolitionists. If you as a white person identify more with enslavers than with abolitionists, you're telling on yourself. But please, oh white author and white voice woman, tell us, what is white culture?
But anyway, back to my books. I'd like to cover just a little bit about them. Willow is a 24-year-old broken woman.
Okay, so now we're learning about white culture, and the first thing you're telling us is that white people are broken.
She gets into a marriage too quickly.
Who get married too quickly. So it's white culture to get married too quickly. Okay.
And things start to unravel when she learns about his dark secrets and she feels trapped.
So white men, according to this woman who has a white voice, is that white men have dark secrets.
She does embark on a love affair with a guy that she meets at a book club.
So white culture is now going to book clubs and cheating on your husband with another presumably white man.
But is he who he says he is?
Who also has dark secrets, because apparently white culture says that all white men have dark secrets, according to this white author right here.
These are domestic psychological thrillers told from multiple point of views, and one of them is actually from the point of view of an unknown stalker.
So now we have a fourth white character who is a stalker. This is your argument for white culture?
Thank you, and support white authors.
The funniest part about all of this is not just that she's painted a picture of white people as those who cannot be faithful to their spouses, those who have dark secrets, those who are deceptive, those who stalk you when you're not looking, but that the New York Times study found that more than 95% of published books are by white authors. So this white woman having difficulty getting published or getting traction is not because white people don't have support. In fact, they're overly represented by a massive amount. It's because she's just a terrible writer. And she's demonstrating the epitome of whiteness in America, that when you've had privilege your entire existence, equality feels like oppression.
White people culture is pretending to not understand the difference between a personal bias and systemic racism. Racism is not just a personal feeling in your heart, right? It's a process by which systems, policies, actions, and attitudes create inequitable opportunities and outcomes for people based on race. And by now, we should all know this stuff, right? And if you don't know, it's because you've been neglecting yourself, right? Because think about it, like apps have to be updated. When you have a job, you have to maintain your credentials by learning all the newest stuff that comes out, right? All the latest developments in your field. And people's brains work in the same way too. So those of you who have neglected your brains don't get to change the meaning of words just because you don't like what they mean or what they might imply about you. What do I mean? Well, racism has a very specific definition. It's not just hating X people, right? If you hate X group of people, you have a bias, right? You're a bigot, sure. But you're missing the most important part of the definition, right? It has always been structural. People with zero hate in their heart can contribute to structural harms that have adverse effects on people of color. Now hear me, especially white people who generally have more power collectively, hear me, collectively as a whole in society. Everyone is capable of contributing to structural harms against a certain group of people, right? Say black people, right? Even black people can contribute to structural harms against black people. We do it all the time because our society is set up that way. Anyway, white culture is hearing me having said all that and then going, nah, I don't like what that lady professor said or how she said it.
This is all I got from this video. Man, I don't know when and how some people will learn to speak the truth, because I think everything going on today and the racism black people and other people of color are experiencing is also people not being truthful. Because when you are truthful to yourself and that when you act like human, right, you definitely will be kind to others. You definitely will want to treat others better, right? But some people will tell you that they are Christians, but their Christianity does not reflect to how they treat you. So what is going on? Because I expect you, right, to treat me like someone that said that I behave like Christ or I know Christ. And according to what you teach me or according to the things you tell me from the Bible, it says that I love you, thy neighbor as thyself, right? And also be truthful to yourself and to people, and that treats people equally, all that. But all those things do not reflect. One thing I know for sure is that they will never leave black people alone. That thing is something that will never happen, because every day I wake up, I am seeing videos from people that should know better, that they are the source or the cause of the problem, coming out to say that we've given them enough time to change. You and who is doing that bullshit? You and who is doing that? You and who? And the kind of the tone and the way they speak to my people tells you, like, it is more like, when you know that you are talking to your younger brother, that you are probably like 10 years older than that, you don't even some people behave like this. They don't see their like those younger ones, they don't treat them with so much love. They want to show them that they are the master or something like that. They always want to control them, right? Just like that. Just like that. That's how their tone come off us. That's how they speak. That's how they make me feel. You are looking for someone to control. You know what? You guys love dogs and cats and pets. If you are looking for someone to control, go buy you a dog. Go buy you a cat. Even a parrot as a pet, you cannot control a parrot. Because a parrot will still tell people what you said when they come. Or if you ask them, So go get you something or buy a goat. Those things, you can control them. But you cannot control my people. They will not stop talking about their experience, because a closed mouth is a close destiny. If they were not talking about their experiences, I probably wouldn't have learned or know about all these things, the lies and what the media have, what they portrayed or what they spread out there, because the media are also part of the problem. When you guys are cooking your own, the media also cook this. And I remember I brought a video of a white woman who worked with conservative media and the things they put out about my own people, because they have the media and they tell the story and every other person believes. Not anymore, because people are waking up and saying things by themselves. Especially this administration. This administration has also shown people a lot. I saw a video yesterday on African blog, right? And it happened that United States, when US is just very manipulative. United States of America, their government is very manipulative. So Ghana, Nigerians refuse to accept deportees, right? Yeah, Nigerians refuse to accept. So they deport people to Nigeria. And they decided to remove all the benefits and all the visa and all that. I mean, if you're Nigerian trying to even get American visa now, is like war. When I say war, war. So Ghana accepted so they bring in deportees to them, and they have lifted all the all the bans. They can now get H1B visa and all that, and they can get 5 years visa, but Nigerians cannot get it. Why? Because they refuse to accept that they deport people to Nigeria. I love the fact that Nigeria, everybody's waking up. So I saw people talking about it, and some that did not understand what is going was like, why is it that why is he doing, it doesn't take him anything to probably take some decisions. Maybe he is a good, some people were like, maybe he is a good president. And it was in that comment section that I found that some people, especially people who are in Africa, in fact, name me Nigeria because I'm Nigerian, and where I saw some people in the comment section were cooking. I was seeing thousands of comments. They were cooking. So they knew what is going on. And I am grateful for that. Bye for now.